All right, everybody, here we go. This is a white 24-row corn planter. We just filled it up. We filled up the center bends with that phenomenal Jeune seed corn. You can see the front-mounted liquid tank. That's what they call, it's called Plant Starter, and it's from Midwest Bioag. I better stand out of the way here. All right, that is a Fendt, what is that, a 933, is that what I'm seeing, or 988? I apologize, I can't make that out. Owner-operator at Drosh Family Farms is in the driver's seat. We have them come over and custom, put our corn in custom. That might change someday. Right now, with the amount of corn or lack thereof that we put in, it proves best just to pay that custom bill. You tell me that ain't cool. I don't care who you are. Folks, I'm sorry, I gotta get rid of this stone. There's no doubt in my mind that John will probably be done in, I bet you he'll be done with this in 20-25 minutes. There's a couple little tricks in this field, so he's gonna have to take his time a little bit. I sure hope you guys can see this okay. Pretty phenomenal sight. Boy, I was bragging about our rock picking last night, but apparently, well, I had to redo this with the Culti-Mulcher. Damn it. Darn it. Excuse me. Sorry, kids. So, I'm going to tell you what's nice and convenient. Having a very powerful farmer not far from you that buys a lot of the nicer, newer equipment that I can't show you myself. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is John just purchased, I think the model number is a 1038 Fendt, nears 400 horsepower. And no, it's not articulated, it's a straight tractor. He ought to get that in the next week and a half, I believe. It's somewhere down in Wisconsin right now. Bought it brand spanking new. And I look very, very forward to showing you guys some nice videos. Big Tractor Power, I'm going to give you a run for your money. And that's my joke for the day. No, I'm not. John bought that planter brand new 4 years ago, and that's a white planter, part of the AGCO Corporation. And if there's one thing John knows, it's planting corn. He's been doing it over 45 years. And he's extremely happy about it, happy with it. I believe he said he put in about 1,200 acres this year. Now, not all of it was his own. Like he's doing here, he does a very fair amount. The whole Drosh Farm family, they do a very fair amount of custom planting, also custom chopping, and combine harvesting. Pretty neat stuff. We did have to clean out a couple of hoppers though. What I'm going to call bottom feeder hoppers. My language isn't correct. But the planters actually had sat for about a week because they were done, we weren't ready, and apparently some other people weren't ready as well. But that was the only small little hiccup. Otherwise, everything's good. So, you can't see him anymore on the phone, I know that. So we'll take a little look here. These are 30-inch rows. I personally don't know anybody around this area that does anything other than 30-inch rows. Okay, I'm about to make a fool out of myself here. Alright, no more messing around. We'll do another video later. Don't worry, the seed's going in the ground, folks. There's I'm going to talk like I know what I'm talking about here. There's a very high-tech monitor in the tractor for the corn planter that will alert you on a dime of what I'm going to call seed flow, and if what I'm going to call your population isn't correct to what your settings are, which we actually ran into that problem last year. In fact, I remember it. We kind of stalled on the video a little bit because John was at the north end of the field and he was stopped there for a while. I wasn't sure what was going on. I asked him afterwards, and he got an alert that one of the individual planters, you know, there's 24 of them, was not receiving, there was not feeding. So, yeah. Weather's turning out a lot better here, folks. It was pretty chilly this morning. It's turned out to be a very beautiful morning. It's just shy of about noon. I'm going to keep this rolling until he comes here. You can get a nice little view of him climbing these small little hills. And I have got to shut this down. There's also a very nasty stone over there. You're probably going to see him pick up. You probably can't even see him. That he's probably going to have to pick the planter up. But yeah, I'm going to wait till he comes back over these hills here so you can get a nice look, see what's going on. It's a beautiful sight. And then my butt has to leave. I need to get going on some other things here. Main concentration is the sorghum field, which is about 19 acres. Needs to be disked, fertilized, and I believe I'm going at the absolute least start the process of culti-mulching. I'm going to up the ante here a little bit and say that it's a possibility of planting that thing tomorrow. We'll see what happens. You can tell some of these nasty ridges in this field. I believe you can tell by the video here. You see this? It can't hardly be helped. The main problem, okay, he stumbled across that stone back there, that's why he stopped. The main problem is that when it got plowed, it then got rained on and everything turned kind of, I'm going to say a little bit hard, where it wasn't a nice even flow, loose soil. I did the best job that I could here, but there's some nasty ridges here which you never want. I look forward next year to chisel plowing this field, which I'll be able to get away with because obviously it was worked up real nice this year. I can use the chisel plow next year. What's going to go in here next year? It's either going to be barley or oats. And I am going to tinker with the idea of putting in new seeding alfalfa in here next year. We'll see. I got to take a good look at our rotations here and see if it can be afforded. And it's going to depend on other property as well. Other property that's coming up for rent. Oh. I don't know what's going on there. I can only assume that that ridge is playing heck on that corn planter, sending him all sorts of codes of error. That's a complete assumption. And you can see that front tank of liquid fertilizer. Plant Food Starter is what it's called by Midwest Bioag. It's expensive, but you have to have it. That's why I got away with only spreading 200 pounds to the acre here. To be very honest with you, that fertilizer application is going to cost more than the bill that I'm going to receive, which is quite generous, by the way. It's a very generous bill. They take it easy on us, for lack of better words. The price for that liquid fertilizer is going to be more than the art of him coming out here and custom putting in the corn. What are you going to do? Nothing. You want to play, you're going to have to pay, I guess. Terrible way to put it, but yeah, and there was one of those ridges. But now, folks, I mentioned something about how they've planted already 1,200 plus acres of corn this year. For a lot of you, for some of you, excuse me, that's a drop in the bucket. For some of you, that's probably laughable. This neck of the woods, our territory here, that is a pile of property. Because I'm going to tell you, that 1,200 acres probably consists of about, I'm going to take a wild guess here, of probably somewhere around 50, 55, maybe even 60 fields. We're obviously loaded with trees here. That is a lot of running around. That corn planter is probably folded and unfolded. You know, what are we talking here? 120, 130 times this year. All right, there might be a lot of you asking, what the heck do you have your corn custom planted for? Well, folks, this year in particular, we're only putting in 18, 19 acres of corn for chopping. Main reason being is because we have our biggest silo at the farm, I'm going to say, is at least 75% full. We got lucky last year. And let's just base it on 25 acres. Let's base it on 30 acres a year that might go in. Well, you know, that's a big expense. That's a very big expense for a minimal amount of property. So therefore the choice is to have it custom done versus, let's just say, buying a nice used, what is it, the John Deere 7000s, or is it the 7200, something like that. Even a good used one is going to cost you, and I'm talking a good used one, it's going to cost you $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, a little bit less than that. How can you spend that kind of money, put your corn in, then it sits for the rest of the year? Well, this is the route that's taken. I will tell you that I do wish for it to change someday, and maybe someday soon, but it's going to require more property. It needs to be justified. Okay, so anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I got to get my butt in gear. There was a big part of me wanting to crawl up inside that tractor, give you the ins and outs, and have John put on a little spiel for you. We're going to do something like that this year yet, but it's not going to be today. So have a good day. Talk to you sooner or later.